Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
So, welcome to the show. This is 188, and today we have Kristi Price, who is a matchmaker and dating coach. And we're going to be talking about attracting the love that you desire. Oh, I think I need this. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, helping coaches and therapists to get their message heard to the people who need to hear it. Now, if you want to get access to weekly updates of the shows ahead, if you go to KarenRobertsCoaching.com/guest, you can sign up. And if you want to be a guest, you can do the same. And if you want to download the Alexa skill, you can also do that from there, or download the app for Podbean, Apple or Android. You'll be able to see the weekly schedule of not just my show, but all the shows on our podcast network. Now, Kristi Price is a certified matchmaker, as well as a dating, life, and success mindset coach. She's dedicated her life to helping others achieve their dreams and find happiness. She's been a connector and coach in many capacities, but her passion lies in KP matchmaking. She loves helping her clients find a healthy, loving relationship with a person of their dreams. So welcome to the show, Kristi.
Thank you for having me, Karen. I'm happy to be here.
So first of all, would you like to just share with the listeners a little bit about your backstory? What made you go into this line of work?
So I got divorced like 17 years ago, I think now, which I'm totally aging myself. And I came out of it a total train wreck in terms of dating. My husband, ex-husband at the time, was a great person, just really didn't hold a job, and we just drifted apart. So when I went out there, I'm an empath. I'm very spiritual like you. I'm a giving person. So I think the best in everyone, I thought everyone online was like there for a relationship. I tend to attract narcissists because they're so charming and amazing in the beginning. So I jumped right into dating thinking I was ready because I left my husband. And then I stepped away from it and really had to do some work on myself, loving myself, creating my own best life. And then really learning how to spot red flags and really defining what I want in a relationship and in a man, what qualities matter to me. And I started dating a lot better guys, and I was a lot happier too because I was setting better boundaries and not just depleting myself with the wrong men. And my friends saw a big change in me and saw the men that I was dating, and they started asking me for help for their online profile and to navigate through online dating at the time and meeting people in person and just striking up conversations. And I thought I can really, when I started helping my friends create better lives and date better people, I thought I could really help people not make the same mistakes I did after divorce. Because like I said, I did not navigate it well at all. So that's what started the dating coaching. And then from the dating coaching, my clients that didn't have time to go out and meet people on their own or online dating or just weren't meeting the right kind of people, they asked me to help find them people that are mutually aligned with the life and relationship goals. And that's how the matchmaking started.
Wow. It is quite a daunting arena. And I don't know, I might be wrong here, but the youngsters seem to, because they've been brought up with social media, it seems okay for them. My eldest, she's been in a relationship for 4 years. And yeah, she met him on Tinder. And for me personally, 51 years old, the whole idea of a dating app scares me.
Why is that?
Perfectly. It's this whole, I suppose, for me personally, I've always met my partner. They've always started out as friends. So I've known them. I suppose I knew their backstory, if you like. So maybe I felt safe because I knew their brother or family, or you knew they were who they say they were. The whole online dating arena, and this is just my perception, right? But there might be others out there a little bit like me that's a little bit scared to take that jump because really, can you get much from a photo? I go for a personality, and it's, to me, it just, I don't know. It's just something that I've never gone down, but hence why I'm still single.
Yeah, but I hear your point. So it is about creating opportunities. Online dating it can be like a full-time job, and you have to navigate through so many fake profiles of people in relationships, meeting them. And I actually, when I first started work with people that were pretty much after divorce, 40 plus, and now a lot of my clients are 20s and 30s because they're having trouble connecting with quality people with online dating. It happens, but just making sure you have a good profile and how to write it so you attract the right people and seeing red flags. So I hear what you're saying, especially you're so busy. Online dating, it's hours and hours of work to sift through people.
Yes, it seems like I want to go the old-fashioned way. I just want to meet them when I'm out. Mind you, these days I don't go out so much.
Yeah.
But also, so where does somebody start? It's for some women, if they've been in a relationship for years and years, got kids, and like you've gone through that divorce, and then, it's a daunting prospect to take that step out. Where do they even start?
Online dating is a great place to meet numbers of men, but also just putting your phone down and being present. So just if you're walking down the street, you're in a coffee shop, we're always on our phones all the time. I mean, all those opportunities to meet people organically, like you mentioned, are missed. So I think going to their meetup groups, like if you go to a lot of these meetup groups, I think they're international or interest groups, they're free, and you can go there if you like to play tennis or soccer or reading or dinner. You have a lot of people that are single or transplants that will go to try to meet new friends through these groups. And it's a great way to meet people because they have a similar interest. You're meeting them organically, so you don't have to worry that they don't look like your picture or lied about something when they show up when you're online dating. So I think just getting involved in things and creating opportunities to meet new people. Like I said, whether it's on the street, prepared food sections. A lot of men don't cook, so you'll find them in the prepared food sections, just buying meals, and just strike up a conversation and say hi or ask for help.
And what are you mentioned red flags. It's, as I said, previous relationships, I've always known them until the only date, and maybe this is why I'm so cautious now. The only date that I did go on was, and we're going back about 8 years, and I didn't know him. And when you talk about red flag, he was so overly nice and so over the top. Yeah, now I realise that's a big red flag, right?
Yeah.
However, it took me a long time to get out of that very toxic relationship because I'd never really had a toxic. They just weren't the right one. It was always amicable, never had a problem until the one time I did go on a first date with somebody that I didn't know, actually caught me off guard because I hadn't experienced it. It took me a long time to get over it. How do you find that this is happening a lot with women that you're dealing with or you're helping?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think I, like you, my first relationships were like long term. I was younger, and they were really healthy relationships. They just didn't work out for different reasons, but they weren't toxic. And I think this is thrown around a lot: narcissism, cluster B personality types. But I think also as we get older, those personalities they magnify, especially if someone's not really looking for therapy and trying to better themselves. I see a lot of women. I think also when we're older, we want someone established. So when you get a lot of, not everybody, this is a blanket statement, I don't mean it that way at all. CFOs, CEOs, multimillionaires, if you're looking for these numbers, which some of the women that come to me, they just want the number rather than the person, then you get into trouble with a toxic relationship sometimes. And then just healing from your past. So jumping into another relationship and self-reflecting on what didn't work. A lot of times when we're in the relationship, we just see all the great things and push the other stuff aside. So really self-reflecting and not beating yourself up, forgiving yourself for missing those red flags. But like maybe he was mean to the wait staff. That's a huge red flag. If people are mean to service people, that's really going to come back on you. Like little things like that, or gaslighting and things like that. You start to question yourself when you're in a relationship too, if they're gaslighting you, making you feel like you're the crazy one. So it's really important to, once you get out of the relationship, to reflect on that person, the red flags you saw, what you missed, and take time to heal. And not fill a void jumping into something else. Hopefully that answered your question. I think that's so important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I suppose there be the trouble. I seem to be happier on my own at the moment, but also I suppose maybe it is when you're younger, you've got so much more time. When you're a little bit older, even though my children are older, I'm nearly an empty nester. So really, I should have more time. But do you think that some women can get a little bit almost caught up in that space that they're not even going to let anybody else in?
That's true too. I hear, and we talk about law of attraction. So if we're saying there are no good men out there, I had this with a client today. All are jerks. There are not good men out there. That's what you're going to find. So I feel like if you want a relationship, and there's certain times, I just put an article out. I think it's better to be alone than with the wrong person. And that doesn't mean forever, but that means to be selective of who you're with. Make sure that you're making good choices. See the red flags, but don't beat someone up when you see one little thing that they may have done wrong or said wrong. So I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but I think that some people just get so broken, and we've all been there, me included. That's why I got into this business, that you cut yourself off. And I think being vulnerable and knowing that you don't want to hurt yourself by not opening your heart to other people. Just be smart about it and make sure that they're built. You're gaining your trust. You're not just giving it freely.
And you mentioned the law of attraction there. I believe that on so many levels. And you're right. I very possibly am putting out the wrong energy, as they're all taken. They're either all married. You think, oh, they're nice. And then you find out, no, they have got a wife indoors. Or so by me, my own belief, putting that out there, of course, then I'm just attracting more of the same.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction and The Secret and all that. What you put out, you attract. So every day with my clients, even myself, write down what I'm grateful for, do your affirmations, because we all have days that you're off or you're feeling sorry for yourself or you're still healing from a past relationship and you're angry. That's the other piece, is you have to let it go. If someone's sworn to you, friendship, relationship, whatever, is you have to get to the point where you forgive them. It does not mean you bring them back into your life, but forgive them, let it go, let that anger go, because it'll just eat you up. And also forgive yourself, because you have your own business. You're very successful. I think a lot of women that are successful and they have their act together, when they get into a relationship that's toxic or it doesn't work out, they start to beat themselves up. I should have seen this coming. Why didn't I see it? And that doesn't do any good for anybody. It just keeps you in that angry spot. So it's important just to lead with love and love yourself and be good to yourself, number one.
It does seem to just go across all subjects. We talk a lot about business and things and how the law of attraction works. And yes, forgiving yourself and not beating yourself up. And so I suppose, if you've got to remember that it works the same in all areas of your life, not just business, work, but it's relationships, family, the whole shebang, isn't it? But do you find that what are the things that people are a little bit more wary about when they're stepping out into the singles arena?
That's a good question. I guess it depends on each person. I know for online dating, that's an easy one. People, the biggest fears are the person's in a relationship. They're scammers. They aren't who they say they are. They don't look like their pictures. The men say, oh, I'm 6 foot tall. They show up, they're 5 foot tall. The women's pictures are all, what do they call it?
Filtered.
Touched up, filtered. Yeah. So no one looks like themselves. And if you're going to lead with a lie right off the bat, like you can't change your height. If the filters don't look like you, it's just not a good way to show up. So I think that's a big thing. And then safety. So I just tell people to meet people in public places where it's well lit. You don't know the guy, don't let him walk you to your car, and just be careful.
Is that something that people are a little bit wary about, do you think?
For online dating, for sure, because there are some scammers and they might not even be the person behind the mask. There could be a guy and a girl. That's happened in Mexico. There are some dangerous situations out there. I don't think that's the norm, but you just need to be careful that the person's not a scammer or they're going to try to rob you or things like that. So you want to be careful when you're online dating.
And that's the thing. Do you think that almost there's things that have been put out, like there's stuff on Netflix, isn't it? So if you watch it, you think, I'm never going to date again. But do you think that's almost like they want almost separation, whereas as human beings, we strive for connection. We are social beings, aren't we? So maybe these fears that aren't real, yes, okay, I'm sure that there are exceptions to the rule, but in general, most people haven't had too bad a time in the dating world, but maybe this fear that's being instilled in people is it's almost designed to keep people separated. But we do need connection, and not that I'm fearful of it, but I know it's not going to be long before I am an empty nester. Nobody wants to be alone, do they?
No, I don't think so. I think we always want someone that's there to support. Like you have a win during your day, you want someone to call, things like that. And that's why it's so important to have good friendships during that time when you are alone. I hate because a lot of people, some people that I talk to that are single feel like they feel judged because they're single, or they just feel alone. Like people will walk up to them. I hear this a lot. Why are you single? You're such a great person. Why can't you find anyone? And then like, okay, I feel like a loser now. Thank you.
Thanks.
But it's really about being selective of the person that you want to be with, creating a life that you love, having good friendships, activities, do things that fill you joy, that bring you joy throughout your day. But yeah, does it get lonely? Of course it does. We're meant to be, like you said, we're humans. We're meant to connect with people. In the last few years with COVID and everything that's happened, I think we're even more disconnected. It's just really, it's tough times. I just saw, someone told me about an article, I didn't read it, that loneliness is killing more people than cigarette smoking. That's how bad it is right now because people are so disconnected. And I think it's really, yeah, but to your point about fear of online dating, if you get a phone number, you can do a reverse search on that. You can use been verified. You can do background checks. So to go life through fear, because you never know what's going to happen, you can't live that way.
No, not at all. And as I said, it's not real. These fears, they are false. They're not the truth. You can have both sides of the, what do you want? What are you looking for? And it's funny, it's just a bit another reminder that, oh yeah, maybe I have been putting out the wrong energy here because yes, I have been thinking there's no one out there. 51 now. It's the wrong energy to put out there. But the actual fear of it, yes, I think it's over dramatized. And yeah, anything, if we're doing anything coming from fear, we're doing anything coming from a place of fear, then the outcome is not going to be good anyway. And that will just affirm it to us, won't it?
Yeah.
But there's light at the end of the tunnel, Kristi. So how do you attract the person that you desire?
First of all, you want to be the person that you desire. So if you haven't done the work, I keep saying this, and you're not in a good place, you're going to get into another toxic relationship. So you have to be the person that makes you happy first and love yourself first. If you don't love yourself, how's anyone else going to love you the way you want to be loved? That's number one. And then just your energy. I'm all about vibration and energy. If you're out there walking around, just be open to meeting people. Talk to everybody. Talk to the barista. Talk to whatever. Just check on people, see if they're having a good day. Because people love to be around people that are smiling. The smiles are contagious. If you're just like laughing at yourself walking down the road, that's going to be weird. But just keep that energy up and like, smiling. Your eyes are up. Make eye contact with people. I think that's really how you start attracting the opportunities to meet the right kind of people. And also, go ahead.
I was just going to say with social media, like you said right at the beginning about people just being on their phones, looking down at their phones, they're not looking up to be aware of any opportunities that may come their way because they miss them because they're facing down, looking at their phone. Do you think things have got, there's a bit of a contradiction? Like, yes, we're in the era of lots of dating apps, but because of so much social media, it's stopping people from actually communicating with each other. So there's like a contradiction there. Are things getting better or are they getting worse?
I think it depends on where you live. So I work out of Philadelphia and New Jersey and also Florida. Florida is a different, you can meet people in the street all day long. But I think
the weather.
I hate to say COVID, but COVID, I have a lot of clients that are younger that I'm coaching because even I So I stopped looking for opportunities because when we we're across the world, we were locked down, right? So we were masked up. We weren't talking to people. We weren't connecting to people. And wherever you lived, when that lifted, you got used to being in your little cocoon and keeping your head down and not talking or making eye contact. So even when I came to Florida, and my job is to meet people and see singles, hey, are you single? You'd be great for my client. I'd love to talk to you. I wasn't doing that the first few months. And I was like, what happened to me? So I think just the last few years has been so difficult. We have social media already. So we're like, oh, I can just go on an app and find some date. And then the whole dynamic of being locked down and all that, we stopped as humans. We got divided a little bit and we weren't connecting like we were. So I think that's why the loneliness rates are so up, because people are now leaving their house. They're working remotely. They're not making opportunities to meet people. And even I work remotely. So I have to push myself to get out, go work at a coffee shop, go out and do something. So I think that when you start putting out there that you want to meet people and you're creating opportunities to meet people, and it doesn't have to just be a man or a woman, it could just be friends. I think that's when you're going to start attracting the right kind of people. You'll start getting asked out. Maybe they have a friend that will be a great match for you. It's just about getting out there and connecting with people again. And it's healthy too. Like you said, we're not meant to be alone.
No, we're not meant to be stuck in it. And even, yes, with my own work, I can work remotely. Hence the reason why I'm heading to Mexico for the winter.
Nice
My
work.
daughters know I am not doing another winter in the UK because that's the thing. When you are, so you've been in Florida, it's a different world. When the sun is shining, it doesn't even have to be hot, but when it's bright, it's the brightness of the sky. You're outdoors more. My daughters were brought up in Portugal, in the Algarve, so hot. So coming back to London in and of itself was a bit of a, really? Why am I doing this? But it was the best thing for the children. It was the best thing for the girls. But now I'm like, okay, you guys are okay. So I'm going to just go back and forth. I think that's the beauty of working for yourself. But I don't want to be stuck in all day. And that definitely is the danger. I'm a people person. I need to be out and with people and speaking to people. But I suppose, I can see that's been a massive issue for many people coming out of lockdown, that the change in lifestyle. And I think a lot of the youngsters and certain age group, when they were at a certain age during lockdown, they're going to be struggling even more because just the art of communication, they've lost a couple of years, which at a certain age, that's a long time. And like you say, you struggled yourself coming out of it. So do you think that's the issue? Have you seen a change though now as people are getting more used to it and life is getting back to normal? Hopefully we'll never go back there again.
I know. Hopefully not. I see a big change. So to be quite honest, I'm all about positivity, law of attraction. I was like locked in my apartment for a year. You couldn't see family. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I think that's the other thing. If you're not happy in a situation or where you are, you have to make a change. So I drove to Florida and was like, I'm picking Florida. I'm going to see if I like it. And I came down, I met friends the first week and I was like, this is my new spot. So I moved down here 2.5 years ago. So to your point, you have to change. If it's not working for you now, the definition of insanity, right? Whether, the place that you live or your job or whatever, make a change and do something that you love to do. So that's the other thing that will hold you back from attracting the right person. You're not happy in your own life. So I love that you're going to Mexico. And the vitamin D, everyone's happy down here. You're going to love it.
That was a massive thing. When I came back, because I come from the fitness industry, so I came back into the fitness industry. And I thought it was I thought, here we go, menopause. I felt terrible, absolutely terrible, no energy. And then when I finally, because I don't like to go to doctors, I finally succumbed and thought, maybe this isn't right. And that's what the issue was. My vitamin D was on the floor. And I hadn't thought about it because you're living in Portugal, you've got sunshine every single day. Coming back to London, there's no sun. Oh, it's raining. As I said, there's a storm at the beginning of this call before. There's a storm going on it. But we have had actually lovely weather. But that is the danger, is you're not getting the vitamin D. That's going to affect you. That's going to affect how you feel, which is going to affect the energy that you put out, which is going to affect the energy that you attract.
Yeah. And I do think people are trying harder to connect again, because I have a lot of coaching clients, 20s and 30s on up, that are like, I just feel like I've lost that art of conversation, or fear of rejection, how to approach somebody, because they weren't practicing. So anything you practice more, you get better at. So I do, the matchmaking has really got taken off. People want to connect again. And the coaching piece where people are like, I just feel a little stuck. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to meet new people. I feel a little insecure. I don't know what to say. I see a big push that people are like, all right, I'm done with all the lockdowns. It's been enough is enough. And I want to get out there and start connecting and meeting great people.
And so who do you serve? Is it just women, or is it men, or is it both? How do you work?
I work with both men and women. I work with active, positive mind singles. That's just my niche, because I just like to work with people that are active and are at least open to coaching or in personal development. So then I can help them when I do coach them. So I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach. So I help people get out of their own way to get where they want to go. So men and women of all age ranges and anywhere.
And you mentioned earlier that you actually get out there and look for suitable singles. Is that how you work, really?
Yeah. Yep. So I have recruiters out there. I go out there. So if I see someone on the street that looks like my client's style, or go to different events and I'll walk up to people. If you're single, I'd love to talk to you. I have a great client that I'd love to introduce you to if you guys are a good match. Yeah. So that's what we do.
Wow. And do you do this sort of intuitive? I would say that's a little bit woo-woo, really. That's working using your intuition, because you don't know these people. You're just going out and finding them. So you're recruiting not just clients, but actually their ideal date.
Yes. And then I have a whole database of people. I've been doing it for 15 years. And we'll go on LinkedIn and some professional sites and talk to people, because most of my people are professional. So we'll recruit there. But then you're right. It's intuition. But until I really interview them and go through this whole hour process of value systems, life and relationship goals, interests, hobbies, all that, I won't know if they're a match until I get through all that. It's fun.
So you do coaching, but also this KP matchmaker. So would you like to share a little bit more about that, what that is?
Yeah, sure. So the matchmaking is for people that don't have time for online dating, or they just aren't meeting the right kind of people. So they hire me to do everything for them. So it's a whole concierge service. So I basically meet with them, figure out their criteria, what they're looking for in a relationship, kids, no kids, all that, age ranges. And then I have a database full of people I introduce them to. And then we constantly recruit all the time as well. So I don't know who's going to have chemistry. So we just make sure that we have a huge database of people, so that when I figure out my clients and what they want, I'll be like, oh, we have these guys or these women. And then I present the profile to them. And if they both want to meet each other, I coordinate the schedule for the date, because my clients are busy people, and I send them out on a date. And everyone's background check and screen. So it's not like online dating where they're on their own. I do it for them.
So it's a complete full service then that you're offering people.
Yes. Yeah. I love
and so
it.
Do you have any funny stories to share with the listeners?
I don't have any funny stories, because I've been lucky enough not to have anyone like go off the rails on their dates. Aside from one guy that picked his teeth with a straw. And I was like, what? He said, I didn't think she was looking. I'm like, I don't care. You never do that at the table. So nothing crazy, just a lot of good stories. I just had lunch with my now very good friends who I matched up last year, and they just moved in together and they're so in love. And that's why I love doing this so much.
Yeah. How does it feel when you get a couple and you get the wedding invitation?
It's amazing. Yeah. And most of my clients I stay friends with, because I work with them directly. So a lot of these big companies, they get tossed off to underlings. I work directly with each client, so they get to know me, I get to know them, and there's a trust that's built. But when they get together and they get married and have kids, or some people don't want to get married if they're older, if they're just in a loving long-term relationship, it's the most amazing feeling.
So you're in a rewarding, very rewarding work.
Yeah, I love it. Like you said, no one wants to be alone. We all want to find love.
Yeah, sure.
With
It's
the right person.
With the right person. Yeah. So what's next for Kristi? You've already been doing this for 15 years. Is there anything else that you're going to be moving on to? What about retreats or anything like that?
Yeah, we're going to start some retreats. I think we're starting them next year. And then we're starting a matchmaking training program for anyone that wants to get into matchmaking, because there really is no standard now. So we're creating a foundation. They're across in any industry, not everyone's alike. So we want to create a high standard of integrity and processes. And I've been working on that for about a year now. We'll be launching that in another couple months. So that'll be fun. So if people want to get into the business, we can help them. And then I got into the biohacking space. I'm all about health and wellness. So I'll be at Dave Asprey's conference next week doing a biohacker play date, which will be super fun. So we always have different events and things happening.
A biohacker play date? Explain that.
Yeah. So Dave Asprey likes everything like playful, childlike. It's all about health and longevity and wellness. So I gave them a proposal for a biohacker play date where it's like a speed dating with a bunch of groups. There'll be like 200 people there with icebreakers and fun things for them to do and connect with as many people as possible. So there's 200 singles that'll be there and it'll be really fun.
Ah, cool. That sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm into biohacking. As I said, I come from the fitness and wellness industry. So when I came back we had our own fitness studio out there for 8 years. And I came into the online space eventually, selling high ticket affiliate programs, but it wasn't really totally resonating with me. And I wanted to create my own program. So I retrained because I'd put on weight, because I'd gone from teaching a load of fitness to sat in this chair on Zoom. And I put on a lot of weight. I wasn't working out and I lost it really quickly doing the ketogenic diet and combining it with fasting. And with my background in nutrition and sports nutrition, it went against everything that I'd learned. So I wanted to understand the science behind it. So I went and retrained. And of course, which is for doctors and nurses, really, for be treating type 2 diabetes and things like that. But I needed to, I begged basically to get on this course because I just wanted to understand the science behind it. And that's what I was about to do before lockdown. And see, it's funny, even then when we know this stuff, it's very easy to resort back. But lockdown, I hit that self-sabotage button. I completely fell off the wagon, started regaining weight because I certainly wasn't eating keto. I was drinking probably a bottle of Prosecco a night and I'd really pressed that self. I mean, it was a horrible time.
It was.
I put on weight and then I couldn't ethically sell something that I wasn't doing. I couldn't be as I do as I say, not as I do. But hence how this came about. This is how it came back. So maybe it was the universe giving me a nudge to say, you're not supposed to be going back to health and fitness and wellness. You're supposed to be going in this direction. So now I have to really make myself do my workout at home, stick to the keto lifestyle, stick to the intermittent fasting lifestyle. And yeah, funny enough, out of lockdown and back on track.
That's
funny
fantastic.
How that works. It just goes to show that we can all be affected by these emotional triggers. And then we have to just, like you said earlier, forgive yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay. And just get back on track.
Yeah.
So things like your morning rituals, like you said, I love that. Yeah. Yes, it's so important for us to keep going through our gratitude list, to keep doing affirmations, because otherwise, just like anything, we'll just resort back to old programming, which may not be serving us, may it?
I totally agree with that. Yeah. Because if I don't get my workouts in the morning and take that time to calm my monkey brain, is what they call it, my whole day just spins out of control. So I just have to do my walk or meditate, like what works for you. Like you said, you have to take care of you first, and I don't even turn my phone on. I have my phone off the first hour, because then as soon as the texts start coming in with clients and probably you get appointments, you're like, then the stress starts to happen. So that morning ritual is so important, as you said.
And it's going to have a knock-on effect too with the whole. How do people have time to go through the dating?
It's a lot of work.
How do they make time? Yeah.
You have to schedule it in almost. Even me, and you're a business owner too, I'll schedule blocks of time for just me or to meet with a friend or whatever. So if it's not on my schedule, like last night, I'll work till 10 o'clock. I'll just keep working. So I think it's about blocking out me time or time for dates, and also time for yourself. I know there's one lady I met that she went on, I don't know if I believe it, she was another matchmaker. She said she went on 110 250 dates or something in a year to find her husband. I'm like, who has that kind of time? Did you just not work? Like maybe schedule 1 or 2 dates a week, but I don't know how people could manage that.
No, that would horrify me.
I know.
The
First of all,
idea.
I have to go through 250 dates to get to one. That's a lot. So now that I think about it, she wasn't really selling herself.
No, not
She's out of the
really.
business
So
now.
what?
Yeah.
So the stats can be a bit lower. The stats can be a lot lower than that.
For sure.
And is that, I suppose, about being, I don't want to use the word, well, yeah, you are being choosy, being particular, or being very aware and conscious about what you're looking for. Do the work beforehand to lower those stats so that you narrow down the people so that you can find the person that.
Yeah, I think you should have like your top 3 to 5 must-haves, especially if you're online dating. You're very spiritual and he's an atheist, or there are certain things that are value systems to you that matter. Don't even meet the person. I don't care how hot he is or she is. If they're not aligned with your top 3 to 5, some people have a checklist of 50. Okay, that's a bit much, but like your value systems matter and interests. So those, know before you meet somebody, if you're online dating or whatever, know who they are a little bit. Because dating can be exhausting if you're going on a bunch of bad dates.
Yeah, and that's going to affect you. If it's
For
another bad date, that's another knockdown that you've got to heal from. Like you said earlier, you got to come back from that, get over that. But I suppose the way I see it is you can't take yourself too seriously. And like you mentioned earlier on in the conversation about it, if it goes, let it go.
Yeah.
People have a tendency to hold on to things, like, let it go. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. You never have to see them again.
Yeah. And don't take it personally. I know some people, when they go on that first date, I just saw this hilarious woman. She has like a wedding dress on. She's running through the streets like with her champagne. Don't take your first dates too seriously. So it's so funny. I just posted on my Instagram. But that's it. Like you never know. It's a first date, even if it's a second date. Like you don't really know somebody. Everyone has a type. So if you're not their type, it doesn't work out. Big deal, and vice versa. There's so many people out there. It's a lot of abundance, not scarcity. And just keep that mindset and have fun. Have fun.
Yeah, and they don't have to be your next husband or wife or whatever you're going out for. It's just you're meeting people. They might just end up being a friend. But could that be an issue? Are people, I don't know, because of before we had apps or things, you would just meet people when you're out. If you were, like you said, it was a similar interest, or if you were just out in the same place, then you would just get to meet people. But do you think because of the way this is structured now, that it's almost, I know I've met people that it's almost like they're looking for the husband rather than going out with the expectation that you're just going out for a coffee, possibly, or you're just going out for dinner. Don't worry about it if it does evolve. But do you think people start with the wrong intentions?
I think if people have an intention that they want to find their next husband or their next wife, and that energy comes off desperate, and it can repel people. It really can.
Yeah,
so
sure.
To your point, like you could meet someone to be a new friend, maybe a business connection, maybe it will be the love of your life, or maybe they'll know someone that might be a good person. But yeah, if you go out there with, oh my gosh, like I'm so lonely, I need somebody to fill a void, it comes off, and people are repelled by that. The right people are repelled by that. So, they have a full life. They want to find someone that's a partner that you can support each other and complement each other.
And I suppose that's the words, I suppose, that we use. People, when they say, oh, this is my other half, you don't need another half. You're a whole person. You're a whole person. They're a whole person. You don't need complete yourself and meet another complete person.
I love that. Yeah, relationships don't define who you are. They're just a part of your life, right? You define who you are and your value as an individual. Yeah, I love that you said.
For you, I know with this show, a lot of people are out there are other coaches, different types of coaches or therapists or healers. And I know you've been doing this all for 15 years already, but if you could share some of your experience of being a coach when you first started out, and I suppose that would help even as you are setting up your own training program for coaches as well. What would you say were your 3 top daily frustrations when you first started out after, I suppose, you qualified? Or
for this, I was coaches in the past, life coaches, executive coach, all that. But when I first started this business, I thought it would be great to help people with dating and not making the same mistakes I did, but I had no idea what a dating coach looked like. So it was about really making sure that I read enough. So I was constantly reading and my life experiences as well, and getting certified so that I knew I could show up and really help my clients and help guide them through the process. So that's confidence, right? You're starting a new business, confidence, daily routine. I'm a big picture person. And I'm like shining objects. So I have to stay focused. Like I have a schedule every day. Everything's in my calendar. So staying organized and focused. And then I think just being present and being always there for your clients. We all have days that we're like, oh, we have our own stuff going on. But just doing the work to make sure that every day I show up and really add value to my clients and can help them. That's really important to me.
Showing up, that is actually 80% of it, I'd say, isn't it? So many people that I see, they give up too soon or they think it's going to be too hard, but it all takes time. And showing up is, it's job half done. Yeah. As long as you show up in the right energy and from the right place as well. So anything that you had to overcome when you were starting out?
Luckily, this business doesn't have a lot of overhead. My businesses before did. So getting the word out and getting basically that I could actually help people. So dating coaching at 15 years ago, everyone was like, what's that? Now there are a lot of people out there doing it. So it's getting the viability, the word out of what I do and just getting clients that I could help. I think that in the beginning was the main thing. It's slow when you first start out.
Yeah. But just keep going. Don't ever give up. And I know you're obviously into the self-development arena as well. So do you have a favorite? As I know there's so many out there. What is your favorite self-development or business book that you think has made any kind of change to your life?
Mel Robbins is the bomb. I've been through Jack Canfield training. We all know Tony Robbins, but Mel Robbins is like a no bullshit. And she has science behind a lot of what she teaches, the 5-second rule and some other great things. She's amazing. So I'd say I can listen to her all day long. And she's just fun. You talked about energy. Her energy's always right on. And she's real and genuine.
Yes. And the no BS, because some people, just because you're into the spiritual side of things, or as I call it, the woo-woo, some people can go, a little bit too far.
I'm a no fluff kind of girl. I think you get that. We're both the same.
Yeah.
That's the point. But I am spiritual too.
Yes. I think there's a misconception that, I have somebody who's incredibly spiritual. She swears so much, she makes me laugh. But it doesn't have to be done in this particular way. It's all energy. I call this sprinkling of woo-woo. I laugh now and say, we're into bucket loads sometimes. It depends how we feel. Yeah. But it's all woo-woo. It's just dressed up in the physical or the mental. But actually, now the science, and I love it, and I love what you say about Mel Robbins it's all science-backed now. The science has proved that almost Newtonian physics, maybe we need to have a rethink. And actually, we've realised that we don't know anything at all.
I know. So funny.
The more we know, the less we know, because there's just another whole other level of it. So any other influences that have affected you or had a positive impact on you and your business?
I guess I went through Jack Canfield's success mindset training. It's a lot of the science-based stuff it presented is kind of the same way. That really helped me really get focused and organized and really know where I want to go with the business. And The Secret. I know that sounds woo, but 20 years ago, my friend gave me the book and I was in financial wealth management. And I was like, this is a bunch of crap. And I literally chucked it. And then when I started this business, I got a concussion. And I was right before I started this business, and I was with a neuropsychologist, and she's read this book. So I was in therapy for a while. And that's when my whole brain shifted So The Secret, the law of attraction, like if I start thinking I'm not going to have any clients or this is going to be a bad day, that's exactly what's going to happen. So just your mindset and making sure that you choose your mindset wisely. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned in the last 17 years that's really helped me.
So even with a successful business and being organized and all those sort of practical things and having strategies, you still need that little bit of woo-woo, don't you?
You do. You do. I have a little movie. I'll watch it sometimes. It's just,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the Secret, we would never have had our fitness studio in the Algarve. We'd literally pre-ordered the film when it was going to come out got it through the Bob Proctor. And the coach said to me, there's so much depth to that film. Watch it twice a day for a month. And my instant reaction was, you are crazy.
Yep.
I haven't watched anything, and especially a film that long, twice a day for a month. And then you think, here's where he is and I'm where I am. Maybe I should listen. And I do. I've always said that if I hadn't had taken action on that and watched it twice a day for a month, there's no way we would have set up our fitness studio. It was never the plan. And we didn't have the funds. But because I went through that every day, it gave me the confidence to reach out to people, to get investment, to start it up. And I wouldn't have done it without The Secret at all.
I love it. That's such a great story.
I don't think people understand it enough because they haven't watched it twice a day for a month.
Yeah.
And so that advice from that coach was pure gold, because it takes, like you said, you've gone through the Jack Canfield thing, then you're following Mel Robbins. It's not something that you read once or watch once and then you've got it. No, you have to keep going back to it. Otherwise, we do fall back into old programming. And it, like you say, with your morning ritual, same as if I don't, and because I get complacent, just like anybody else, and I notice a change, my day is just like all over the place. If I hadn't, I love that advice of turning the phone off. I do have it by my bed, and I really should remove it out of the bedroom.
Yeah, and I sleep better. So I'll just turn it off, put it on airplane mode. It's amazing. All those EMF, electromagnetic currencies and things like that too, and it's blowing up. I love that about The Secret though. It's great. And then I don't know if you, but on Audible, there are a bunch of new secret apps like Secret for Relationships, Master for Money. So they're really good apps. I listen to them like pretty much every day. So they just give me chills and they get me inspired. So for your viewers,
brilliant.
That's what I do on my walks.
There you go. It just goes to show you, just like you need to eat good food, you need to drink good quality water. You need to feed your mind constantly. It should be part of your daily routine, right? Because otherwise, yes, you can forget and get complacent. So having something to inspire you, to motivate you, everybody needs to go throughout their day with a sprinkling of woo, don't you think?
I totally agree with that. I love it.
Maybe I need to turn it towards my own relationships. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been shut off, been so focused on business. And again, stories that we tell ourselves, because like you say, okay, yes, it's going to take time, but it's very easy to dismiss things. I know I do it. I know I'm doing it. I haven't got time. But they're just stories that you tell yourself.
Right.
What would your top tips, 3 top tips that you would say? Anybody out there who, has been single for a while and they're ready to step out into the unknown? Top 3 tips.
Okay, so you mentioned time. So number 1, if they're saying, oh, and all the time, then get up an hour or 2 earlier, right? You can always get more time or stay off social media and stop wasting your time doing all that stuff. So that's one tip. Write your love intention. So I have my clients write a love intention. So you can write your checklist of everything that you want. But if you actually write it in a way that you're in the relationship, this man or woman, whatever, supports me. They're supportive. They have a great sense of humor. They're athletic. I feel loved. I feel safe. When you start dating and something feels off, first of all, you should listen to your intuition. And you go back to that love intention. You go, oh, okay, this is how I want to feel. I'm already feeling a little off while dating this person. So it's probably not for me. So that love intention, not only for the secret and law of attraction, you write down what you're looking for and how you want to feel. It'll help you guide you through the dating process. And then create opportunities. Put your phone down. Meet people organically. Get out to groups. Don't just rely on online dating sites. I think you have to create enough opportunities to meet the right kind of people.
Love that.
Those are my three.
So, for the listeners out there, if you're watching this on social media or YouTube, then you will already have Kristi's details down below. If people are just listening via the radio or podcast, how do they find you?
They can go to kpmatchmaking.com. There's a link there for a 20-minute free consultation. My phone numbers are on there. People can call or text me to set something up. I'm pretty laid back that way. And then they can also sign up for my free matchmaking database in case they want to be matched with a possible client that might be a match for them.
Fantastic. So with your offering, the full sort of are they separate? You got the coaching, but then you got the KP matchmaking, or is it this all in one?
It's all in one. And also, because we were talking about the art of conversation, I put this little cheat sheet for art of conversation and tips to meet men and meet women. So if anyone wants me to email that to them, I just email it to her for free. You just put it in your purse or your bag, and it gives you like openers to walk up to someone until you get comfortable.
Like icebreakers.
Yeah.
And is that what it is? Do people just get nervous to actually start up a conversation? Do you notice a difference between men and women, actually?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the person. So I think women, actually, let me backpedal. I think women think men should always approach them. And the nice guys have gotten beaten down 1,000 times, so they might not approach you. So it's about creating the opportunities for a conversation. Ask them for help or directions or something so they can at least start a conversation. Doesn't mean you have to ask them out, but just be approachable. Approachable body language. Make sure you're smiling and just walking up to people. So I think the nice guys are afraid to approach the women. The players always will. And I think women need to make sure that the guy feels that they're approachable or even strike up a conversation.
You say that would you consider that a red flag if they're straight on you?
It depends. It could, if you're at a bar and you just see them bouncing from woman to woman, then for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. See them out with a different woman every week, then no.
But some guys just might take the opportunity to walk up. And I think that's brave of them if they're willing to do it. Yeah.
But it's okay, women, to actually get out and just start a conversation.
Yeah,
take it easy. Chill out. Relax.
Especially if it's during the day. People don't think you're hitting on them during the day. Like at a bar, you're set up for that scenario. But if you're just like at shopping or coffee shop and you're just asking, hey, that looks really good. What did you get? You're just starting a conversation. There's no pressure. See where it goes.
And like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be. Your first date could just be coffee in the day. It doesn't have to be the big thing. Some people create the idea in their head.
Yeah, do something fun like a bike ride or a walk or coffee or whatever. Dinners are the worst first dates because you're sitting across from a table. Right, so you have that physical table between you, so you can't lean in, see if there's any attraction, and you're stuffing your face while trying to talk. So I'm always like, do something lighthearted, grab a cocktail, do something fun.
Yeah. Great advice. Look, Kristi, thank you for being here today. It's a great conversation, and I know that I need to actually listen and take action. Yeah, take action myself. I haven't got time. Yeah, I've got to stop those stories that are going around in my head. So there you go. Maybe next time we speak, well, who knows?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, you can get on your podcast. You'll have plenty of time, so there'll be no excuses.
There you go. Oh dear. So guys, thank you for listening. You can attract, get my words out. You can attract the right fit for you, right? You can attract whatever you desire. So, thanks once again for your time. And to everybody else, I'll be back in a couple of days. I'll be back on Thursday with a Coffee with Karen. Bye for now.
The Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.